this is the 5th year that we are visiting Nalen and the Color House exposition with the two fantastic men,
Fantastic.
David Shah.
Hello.
5th time.
I've lost count. It could be the 5th time.
It
yes,
is. It's the 5th celebration.
Oh, good.
I think it's fantastic.
Great.
Let's talk about one thing, so we have that beyond us.
Yes.
What about economy?
Now, I work in the textile business, so I'd like to be more specific about textiles. What I think is crazy is the way that newspapers are leading the world. 1 year ago, the Herald Tribune, the Times, we were all going to be in a big depression like the 30s, soup bowl kitchens and all the rest of it. And now, about 1 month ago, oh, the recession is over, it's boom, 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 forget it all. And that's absolute rubbish. Because in my business, which is textiles, it's a 6-month cycle, and we need 6 months to see things through. And yes, the big shows like PV were really busy, and people were but they were ordering only 1,000 meters, very, very small orders. And that's not enough to kickstart the business.
No.
You need big orders to get your planning. You can't plan. Without orders, you can't plan. So your machinery is standing still, you can't buy yarn. And the other thing, without big orders, you can't run basics, which means you can't be flexible on price point.
At all.
So you can talk about the recession over, but I want to see it when the consumers start buying. And I don't think the consumers are going to start buying for quite some time. So at least we've hit the bottom. At least we're thinking with brighter eyes and doing something rather than doing nothing. But it ain't over yet.
Looking at Viewpoint, your magazine, when I read the last one, going through it, it was more positive than I thought. I was surprised.
Well, we were talking about something called leisure.
Yeah.
And, I'm a boomer, so Martin will talk today about how my generation is over, replaced by Joneses. And of course, as the generations are moving up, there's a whole thing about lifestyle balance. And unlike me, who was wanted to be top of the pyramid at 25 and worked 24 and got divorced and didn't care, and destroyed the world in my process of consumption, this generation is much more about balanced lifestyle and putting career in level with getting spiritual return, family, community. It's a different thing. So you get that kind of positiveness coming through, that people want to do more with their lives than just earn a buck.
Making money. They want to have comfort. And I think
whether it's true or not is debatable, and I really don't believe that, because I still think money runs the world. Very cynical.
I think money runs the world, but I think there is a process today, and it comes out very quickly when you read Viewpoint. We want to have a change. We want to have a better lifestyle.
Yes.
We don't want to be controlled by the money, although we are.
That's a very good point, because what you're touching on is a subject I'm very close to at the moment. It's about change.
Yeah.
Because this word is a bit like authentic and things like that. It's a word that everybody's using. And when I've been analysing the last year, it's very, very sad, because it was a big opportunity to change in the last year. Change the way we live, change the way banks work, change the way we look at capitalism, etc., etc. And quite frankly, the world has been busy getting back to exactly how it was a year ago, before the Lehman Brothers, returning to the status quo. And this, for me, is a very, very dangerous thing, because we are trying to be the same as we were, but behind us there's so much coming on in technology, biochemistry, robotics, nanotechnology, all these things. It's like Pandora's box. The box is open, these things are out there, the world is moving on in such dynamic, exciting ways into a 5th scenario. But what are we doing? Busy being just as we were before. And it's very scary, because if companies don't realize the changes which are happening around us in all these sciences, then they're just going to be losers in the end. And it's very, very shame. The trouble is with companies, they're still run by merchandisers, stock controllers, and accountants. They're not creative people, and because they're not creative people, they're very, very busy keeping the bottom line steady and not taking risks. Because taking risks has not been part of our culture for so long.
And especially not in Sweden.
Well, I don't want to specify, but in anywhere where you've got accountants running companies and stock markets.
Where do you think a company, a large company, where should they change in respect of the people who work for them? Because I have a feeling, as you told me before, we don't want to really change.
That's the problem. And because we don't want to change, we don't need anything more, because we've got everything in our current life state. So if you're a company, you've got to open up new opportunities. And one of opening up the new opportunities, of course, is in new communication methods. I mean, Twitter and all this. Martin will talk more about that. But we're going to change the way a brand works. Conversation is a big thing. But in product terms, we've got to learn, as I said last year, to be much more imaginative and think out the box. The successful people of today, like the restaurants and all the chefs, etc., are people who mix things which should never be mixed. You know, takes
Surprising,
science and psychology with cooking, makes a whole new type of restaurant food. And, you know, thinking about products which never existed before and trying to put them in the marketplace. And unless people start doing that, they're never going to win. You know,
and also what you say, the mixture of it, the mixture.
Cocteau said, fantastically, he said, étonnez-moi, surprise me. And I need to be surprised.
That's
and, you know, that's we do it.
And especially when you see the large television with the kitchen, the restaurant are coming out. And I just spent a weekend going to a family hotel where the children were invited to make their own breakfast. Baking, the mothers were in the spa, and it was a very, very positive attitude.
Well, this again is not my generation. You know, boomer generation was like, oh, let's travel, let's work, you know, 100 hours a week and buy them Louis Vuitton, sort of buy them off. You know. But that's really my generation. That's why we created the whole latchkey generation, which was the Joneses, which is Martin's age group. And of course now, as I said, you've got this whole British generation who are much more family oriented, and their holidays are about sharing their holidays with children. Let's go white rafting together. And you can see it in the boom, like clothing. They really buy the same clothes for their children as they wear, the same brands as they wear. It's this whole network. So children, from furniture to clothes, is a huge boom market. And even babies with their prams, you know, like Rolls Royces these days. So it's a boom market. But what I would like to say, what I'm very scared about is, we in the West are standing still. And all the great innovation is coming from the East. It took an Indian, Tata Cars, you know, when Volvo, Saab, Volkswagen said, you cannot make a car for £2,000, it's absolutely impossible, then Tata came out and did it. You know, the Saudi Arabians are building islands in the middle of nowhere, they're building underwater cities. The Chinese,
they're having snow.
You know, so the whole balance of power, and I said we've got to invent, we've got to astonish, but so far all the astonishment is coming from the East, not from us. So we better. But
isn't that because they are entrepreneurs and we are sitting down? We've done it.
Well,
how do we get
that's
people
not true.
to have?
The West is full of entrepreneurs. I mean, you know, look at Apple and Bill Gates and all these kind of Jobs and Gates. They were the classic guys who turned the world upside down, and we've still got the ability. It's what I say, that the companies are so risk averse at the moment that they're not encouraging these people to come forward, and it's only the people working on their own. And in today's climate, no bank will give you any money for anything unless you've got 55 umbrellas above your head, assets worth $2 million to borrow $10. You know, and that doesn't suit.
It kills the inspiration.
Well, the inspiration is still there, but nobody's got the money to even find a garage to start in. So that's the problem at the moment. So it's a bit of a mess. It's a shame.
David, it's always fantastic to talk to you, and I'm really looking forward to listen to our seminar and maybe catch it.
No,
You